The New York Rangers have a decent amount of good prospects, not a ton of great ones, but definitely a few really good ones. And one in particular, Bryce McConnell-Barker, I think is pretty underrated by most New York Rangers fans and around the league especially. Obviously not being talked about too much because he is a former third-round pick in this past draft, in 2022 draft. So he's not going to get too much talk around the league. But I think overall, even by Rangers fans, he gets a little underrated. I think this guy is a fantastic prospect, and I have got to see him in real life. I've watched him multiple times on TV, obviously, but I have watched him once in real life when he was playing Brennan Othman in Peterborough, when Sioux Greyhounds were in, obviously, Peterborough playing the Petes. So I got to watch him live. I watched him multiple times on TV, and I think he's a really fantastic prospect. In my New York Rangers prospect rankings, I had him in the number 2 spot overall out of all the Rangers prospects. And I think by most Rangers fans, maybe it's because he's a former, third-round pick in this past draft, so he doesn't get talked about too much. But I do think he is underrated. And I do think this is a guy who Rangers fans need to take a look at, a more in-depth look at. So I thought I'd make this video here today. I'm going to have a ton more videos covering prospects, draft content, free agency, trades, all that good stuff, rumors, literally everything. New York Rangers, as well as some other NHL stuff around the league this offseason. So if you are a Rangers fan or an NHL fan, definitely stay tuned and subscribe to this channel because there's literally no better place to be if you are a New York Rangers fan than this channel on YouTube. I post daily New York Rangers content. So definitely stick around for that and subscribe. But carrying on with this video, talking about BMB, Bryce McConnell-Barker. This guy is a fantastic 6'2", 194-pound, two-way centerman. And when he was drafted by the Rangers, he was drafted as a two-way, good shutdown, penalty-killing centerman who has good leadership skills. This past year was actually the captain of the Sioux Greyhounds, so that's pretty cool as well. Was the captain, obviously, like I just said, for just this past year. So I'm sure he'll be the captain again next season, where he'll be back with the Sioux Greyhounds next year as well. And like I said, he was but drafted as a defensive centerman, kind of known that that's what he's best at. And this year, we really got to see his offensive game take huge steps forward as like the 19-year-old he doesn't turn 20 until next June. He's a former third-round pick in the 2022 draft, number 97 overall. This is a guy who had a monster year, step up offensively, had 28 more points this year than he did last year. In the same amount of games played. He had 68 games played this year, 30 goals, 47 assists for 77 points for the Sioux Greyhounds, who were not a good team this year. They did not make the playoffs, and a very few amount of teams don't make the playoffs. So he was on one of the worst teams in the entire OHL, had a monster year offensively, was really, really carrying that team there, looked fantastic, was a captain, leading that team, penalty killing, playing a great two-way role, as well as comparing it to last year, in 2021, 2022, where he had 68 games played, only 23 goals, and only 26 assists for 49 points. So we had 28 more points, 7 more goals, and obviously 21 more assists. So he was absolutely fantastic this year compared to last year, especially his offensive game stepped up big time. And like I said, his offensive game was the kind of question mark. He got drafted as a defensive guy, and obviously has just been tremendous this year offensively, having 28 more points. That's a pretty big jump up. I like to see. I like to compare that to other drafted 2022 draft guys, how they jumped up, because that is just insane to me. I don't know how many guys have done that. 28 more points in your next year is pretty good. And also being on a bad team. I mean, sure, there's a lot of guys who have gone, they get drafted and they have a monster year the next year after that, because in the OHL and junior, that extra year can be big time, going from like the age of 17 to 18 or 18 to 19, whatever it is. But I do think that him being on such a bad team, him being the captain and stuff, him being a two-way guy who penalty kills a lot, I think this makes things even more special. The fact that he is a defensive guy who had just a monster offensive year, it really is great to see. And this is a guy who, like I said, has a really good supporting game for a center. He's really good defensively, good passer. Really just always buzzing around there. He knows where to be on the ice when he doesn't have the puck. Really good shutdown game. Really strong on both ends. Like I said, 200-foot player, that's for sure. Obviously knows what needs to get done. He's really strong on the puck for the most part. A lot of effort. Just he has good positioning as well, really good positioning offensively and defensively, knows where he needs to be. And for the most part, he's just an all-around really good two-way centerman. And this year, I think that offensive game has taken a massive step forward. And hopefully one day, he can be a really solid, maybe middle six centerman for the Rangers, playing a really good two-way game and being a shutdown D-man while also being able to put up a really good amount of points. I mean, who knows what his ceiling truly is. I mean, maybe it's a point per game, being a really good two-way guy. Maybe he can be... And there's so many options. Maybe his ceiling is Jonathan Toews. I highly doubt it. Can't imagine he'll get that good. But it's possible. You never know with prospects. But this is a guy who I think can be a really good middle six, two-way centerman at the next level, and maybe one day be a really good, impactful player on a New York Rangers Stanley Cup winning team. That is definitely a realistic possibility. He's also Canadian, so he very well might play for the Team Canada at the World Juniors for this upcoming tournament in December and January. Thanks for watching. And like I said, stay tuned for a lot of New York Rangers content, a ton of content talking prospects, draft, free agency, trades, all that good stuff. So definitely stay tuned for that. Definitely subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see ya.